Why do some people get shredded using fasting, while others, they just burn out and regain the weight? So, is fasting just another way to cut calories, or is there something else going on that makes it a more effective way to get to 10% body fat faster? Well, in this video, I'm breaking down the hidden factors that will determine whether fasting gets you lean or wrecks your progress, all with the help from some of YouTube's top fitness creators, so you can get lean without the gym bro routine. Now, we've got Lane Norton, and he's coming at us with some new research on fasting and weight loss.
So a new study came out on intermittent fasting versus just regular continuous meal feeding. Does intermittent fasting, or they call it time-restricted eating, cause more weight loss when compared with continuous meal feeding when people eat the same amount of calories, same macros, and same micros? And what did they find? Well, they found no differences in weight loss.
So, no extra weight loss in the fasting group, but hold on a second, because this study that Lane's talking about, it labeled people as fasting when they were eating from 8 AM to 6 PM. That's not fasting, that's just a normal day for most people. So check this out, because here's a follow-up study that went way more aggressive. First off, everyone in this study was forced to eat at calorie maintenance, so they could not lose weight by design. Plus, they all followed the same meal plan with identical macros and micronutrients, adjusted only for their body weight and activity level to make sure that they all maintained their weight. And the only difference in the study was one group, they ate in a 12-hour window, and the other group, they ate in a 6-hour window. And that 6-hour window group, they were labeled the fasting group. And guess what's happened? These graphs show how the fasting group saw absolutely massive improvements in insulin sensitivity, with better glucose control, plus less insulin needed to manage the same amount of glucose, improved beta cell responsiveness, and a dramatic reduction in insulin resistance, which led to better body composition results. So more muscle, less fat at the same body weight. Plus, in the fasting group, appetite dropped significantly, showing reduced cravings, lower perceived capacity to eat, making overeating less likely, less hunger, and way higher evening fullness and slower stomach emptying. Now, this combination is how you make getting lean easier. So yeah, fasting done right, it can lead to huge changes, but you've got to be willing to go long enough. Eating from 8 AM to 6 PM does not count as fasting, but eating in a 6-hour window, that does count, which is why the length of your fast has got to go straight into that use with caution tier. Now, we've got Joe Delaney, and he's coming to us with a full day of eating.
Today we are doing meal prep on a budget, and I'm making 5 portions of a breakfast, lunch and dinner.
You saw it, first thing on the screen, that Gym Bro classic, a Tupperware of chicken, rice and broccoli. And sandwiched between that, we've got 2 other prepped meals and 2 snacks. This is textbook Gym Bro meal prep, but let's look a bit deeper.
Overnight oats. For our base recipe, we're using oats, protein powder, natural yogurt, chia seeds and almond milk. You can just use tumblers and cover them with cling film or any old jars that you've got lying around. So we're starting out with the bodybuilder holy trinity of chicken, rice and broccoli. Put stuff in boxes.
Now, I'm not here to attack the food. Everybody's got different taste buds, and that Gym Bro palate is engineered for gains, not flavor. But here's the problem that I see all the time with clients following plans like this. This study showed that it's not the calories in your meal that drive the fullness, it's the volume because of something called mechanoreceptors. These are stretch sensors in your stomach that tell your brain when you're full, when your stomach physically expands, not when you've hit 500 calories and not when you've had enough protein, when your stomach stretches to a certain point. Then it sends a signal it's full. Now, look back at Joel's meals. That breakfast, it's tiny. And that chicken and meal rice box, that's not much better. And that's the point. This kind of prep for 3 to 5 small measured meals a day is great for one thing, gaining weight. Because small frequent meals are easier to force down when you're trying to eat more. But most people today, they are not struggling to eat enough. They're struggling to stop overeating. So if you prep tiny meals all day long, you're just keeping your hunger alive 24/7. So a better move, fewer, bigger, more satisfying meals. So if you fast until lunch, then when you do eat, you load your plate up with high volume foods to stimulate those mechanoreceptors in your stomach. That is how you stay full for hours. Being mildly hungry all day and living off soggy Tupperware meals that taste like sadness, this is not a strategy. It's a test of how long you can endure the torture before you break. This one, it's got nowhere to go but the Gym Bro noise tier. Bye bye, Joey boy. And if you're on a body transformation journey, or you're just thinking about getting started, I go live every Sunday from Austin, Texas, helping you kickstart your fitness for the week the anti-gym bro way in real time. And this is your personal invite to train with me live in the AGB 105 Workout Club. So if you want to check that out, or you just want more fitness intel like this, then go ahead and subscribe. Now, we've got Eric Roberts, and he's got his scale out.
Most people think tracking calories is just about losing weight, but it did way more than that for me. I realized I was doing a terrible job of guessing portion sizes. Once I actually started to track, I realized I was eating way more calories than I thought. And this was both from healthy foods or from small handfuls throughout the day that were adding up quick.
Now, tracking is fine and all, but let's be real, it's not realistic for most people to track all the time. It turns meals into this math equation and food becomes this plate of numbers. Not something that you enjoy, but check this out. This study showed people using intermittent fasting lost weight without tracking calories. In fact, they automatically ate 200 to 550 fewer calories per day without even trying. No food logs, no MyFitnessPal, just eating in a smaller window. Now, you might be thinking, see Eric, you don't need a freaking scale, just fast and the deficit happens naturally. But hold on, because these people had two major things working for them. One, nutrition counseling, and two, a focus on whole single ingredient foods. So yes, fasting works without tracking, but only when it's built on food awareness. And you see, this is the real mistake that I see. Fasting until you're ravenous and then smashing a massive reward meal full of those hyper-palatable foods that completely bypass your brain's natural fullness signals. We all know a few baked potatoes will not make you overeat, but 2,000 calories worth of pizza, that's easy to eat without barely even blinking. So here's what I recommend. Track for just 1 week before you start fasting. Not forever, just enough to build that food awareness. And then when you hit your eating window, you're not guessing. You already know what real food portions actually look like. So ditching food tracking and just relying on fasting, it sounds great in theory, but in practice, I've seen it backfire way too many times. If you want to truly get lean, you still need a solid sense of your calorie load, and that's why this one has got to land in the hit or miss tier. Now, we've got Paul Barnett, and even the enhanced Jack bodybuilders are starting to embrace fasting for gains. But why?
My gut is overworked. Let's give it a break from the food. Let's let inflammation settle down. Let's let it heal. Let's let it have some time to adjust. So I thought, heck, instead of doing a low day, I usually do 1 low day per week. Let's just not eat for 24 hours straight. That's not going to cause any significant loss in muscle. I don't think so.
So Paul is giving his gut a break with fasting, but what does that actually do for losing fat and building muscle? Well, you aren't what you eat, you are what you absorb. And that's why gut health matters so much. And right now, the market is flooded with products to optimize it, from probiotics like seed to digestive enzymes like masszymes. And even though it's a bit of a wild west out there, nearly everyone agrees on these two things. 1, the more diverse your microbiome, the better. And 2, the stronger your gut barrier is, the better. And guess what? Fasting, it helps with both. This study shows that fasting can massively increase microbiome diversity, making it easier for your body to break down food and absorb nutrients. And this one, it shows your gut barrier, which is just 1 cell thick, is super easy to damage, but when it's strong, it protects the system that makes key neurotransmitters like serotonin, which regulates your mood, and dopamine, driving motivation. Actually absorbing what you eat to rebuild your body is one of the most overlooked pieces in fat loss and body recomposition. And those motivation and willpower neurotransmitters, they've got to be produced daily, which means gut health matters more than people think. And that's why fasting for improved gut health has got to land in that strong contender tier. And if you're new here, my name is Tim. I'm a food scientist and personal trainer, now based in Austin, Texas. I specialize in helping guys hit that 10 to 15% body fat without letting fitness take over their life. So if you want to get fit, look fit, and still have a life outside of the gym, you're in the right place. So subscribe to train with me live on Sundays in the AGB 105. And now I've got one for you, and I'm sure you felt this one before. This is hands down one of the top benefits people talk about when they start fasting. People always say that mental clarity, it hits different compared to that slow, carb-loaded brain fog you get after heavy meals. But this is also where the big debates start, because if you look at the short-term data, it shows unless you're keto or fully fat adapted, having glucose available for your brain is actually better than fasting for mental performance. But honestly, this is where I think the science is still catching up to real life. So let's look at the longer term evidence. This study showed that intermittent fasting improved executive function and memory. And this study showed fasting improved brain inflammation and protected long-term memory. And this study showed fasting increased BDNF, that's brain-derived neurotrophic factor, a key molecule that boosts neurogenesis and literally helps your brain repair and grow. So even if that short-term lab data isn't fully there yet, we've got enough to say fasting powers up your brain. And when you combine that with natural morning cortisol, a little caffeine to spike the catecholamines too, and then jumping straight into deep work, you're locked in for hours, right up until that real hunger hits. You're protecting this and getting the body recomp benefits of fasting. Come on, that's undeniable winner tier. And for more coaching tips, watch my video here.